Hi guys, welcome to my art studio today. My name is Beatrice Ajayi. I'm an artist based in Glasgow in Scotland, and here on my YouTube channel I love to share what I get up to in the studio and the different mediums I use and different subject matters that I cover. So welcome if this is your first time. Thank you so much for being here, and if you are returning, I really appreciate it. I also wanted to thank my subscribers. You guys have been awesome, and I really appreciate you being here and really, confiding in me and giving me your approval through subscribing. So I'm looking around because I seem to have misplaced a particular piece of tool or an art. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Actually just paint. It's not a tool. But I wanted to make some areas a bit darker right now. So I'm gonna see what I'll use. I am using bigger brushes today because I want to just kind of dive out of using very small brushes. So I am working on that today. I'm gonna put some colors down and see what happens. I don't know if you can see in this painting, but I have a very abstracted owl in here. So I'm gonna start bringing some of those colors out in this owl by giving some suggestions on some areas. And I'm just going to get straight into it. So how are you doing? I hope you are well. I have been just getting on with it, creating artwork as usual, and I really enjoy working on these and sharing it with you guys on the channel. So I just get on with it. I really enjoy them. So let's see how this guy turns out. I'm really wanting to have the background as much as possible be available for me to use in the painting. So I will try to be conscious of not getting rid of certain areas, but I might end up covering them anyway. But here's to trying. And I'm going to be building the environment up as I go. So I want to bring some colors I've not been using too often into the paintings as well, like more browns. So let's see how this goes. You might hear my tummy rumble in this. So yeah, the videos that I've been releasing the past couple of weeks have been a longer, kind of a version of how I approach artwork. So please do let me know what you think about that. If it is okay, if you think it's an okay format to use. As I said, I've been experimenting a lot of late, trying to figure out what I can do with the channel. I don't want to be very, restricted with what I do here. And I wanted to offer some of the longer content. So that's what I've been doing here. So I have no idea how this owl is going to turn out. I am just going with what I'm doing right now. I'm going to wash off my brush and see if I want the background to be lighter. I have a whole range of colors that I've mixed up this last week. So I'm going to be experimenting with those. And I'll start by putting them onto my palette first so I can get an idea of what they look like. If not, I would... putting them straight on is a bit risky. But I'm realizing I wanted to try out some certain techniques. So saying the process is something that I'm really looking at of late in how I paint. So I'm really wanting to get into getting some design-like movement that is very strategically done. So like this bit here where I am adding this kind of like a water flow element. So I want to really just knuckle down and think through my moves in the painting. So some paintings will take longer. This might not finish as I attempt to do in most of my videos. I just want to be able to experiment and get that interest. So the techniques, what elements I want to bring into my work, and play around with that using different tools. Like I might do some dots here and add some of this white in between different areas. Now let's see what happens if I use this tool. Let's see, I was looking for another of my shaper tools, but oh yeah, I can see one here. My shaper tools, then my hand won't get as messy. So let's see what this looks like if I drag it. So yeah, playing around like with this kind of idea of moving paint. And getting different effects, letting the areas dry, coming back in, adding more details. Yeah, that's where I am right now, just playing around with all of this and seeing how I can build the layers on my actual canvas. So I have that color. What else could I use? I have some other colors that I've mixed that I could also add. I'll just put it on my palette again. These colors look so good. I've really been enjoying this weekend that's just gone past, just mixing colors together in the bottles. Like if some of them are almost running out, I've just been going in and adding other colors and seeing what I get so that I can mix up my color range, because I feel it was very limited. And I like to use saturated colors, which is not necessarily a good thing. So mixing the colors in their containers and getting all sorts of different effects has been really fun. So yeah, this whole wavy kind of look thing. Obviously, I'm going to overdo this, but as I said, practicing and then being able to paint over things as well. So it's not that it has to stay like this. I can paint over it as well. But trying to see how I learn to blend some areas. And through that, you build your painting. So blend in some areas so that it's not all so sharp when it comes in. So yeah, just having fun with techniques is the thing that I'm doing of late. I'll try another of the colors that I mixed again. So what I'm doing right now is I'm talking to you and I'm working around the edges, is I'm trying to get this main character to dry. I've introduced some colors in there very quickly at the beginning of this painting session, but I want it to try and dry so that I can work on other areas. So I'll go back into like a bigger brush. My water is like so dirty already. I'm supposed to be using a bigger container for my water, but I've not bothered doing that because it will take up space on my desk and I don't want that to happen. So yeah, a bit more of a relaxed way of painting here with you guys and trying to think of what I want to bring in, but also thinking about the process a bit more. I really love my Prussian blue, but I want to start mixing it in with a whole variety of colors. Just want to try being a bit more experimental with things. So it's a bit of that orange color there and not thinking too much about cool, and this is like a gray that's coming here, this color. So I have no idea what this painting is supposed to be about. I just want to play around with color. Just added some white into that and now I'm getting a kind of a gray. I'm playing around with that, mixing it in, add some more white, and it'll become even more of a gray. And carrying the color around is what I'm doing right now. Getting different marks with my brushes. That looks really interesting. So this kind of swervy. And what else can I do? I can scratch into them as well. So I always like to do and carry that scratch like around. So it kind of ties them in, you know, scratching the surface, using different tools to do that. I have, like here, oh, there's another one. Just knocked my camera. There's another one I have here, which I can use in to scratch some areas. Like it's just a two-prong thing. And I can go in and scratch some areas, get some designs. It's already mostly dry. So let's go into some of the wet areas. I'm trying to think where. And you can kind of drag it as well and have it move around. Mark making, as I said, is the key ingredient to my process, and having fun with that. I might change this owl. I think I prefer barn owls. I like their face, their structure. They're very specific. This owl I have here, I'm not really sure about it. I might end up creating an owl like the one I did earlier on today for TikTok. So I'm gonna basically cut that out, and let's see how I do that. I'm sure I have like a yellow I can use. I'm gonna use a white and some brown to do this. And I have this, what's called Naples yellow as well. That might have been better to use for this. Let's see. So I'm cutting into this to get the face that I want. I'm gonna go. So I'm cutting the face out. Let's see, the eyes are not supposed to be like that exactly. It'll get there, it'll get there. I'm gonna put that away and got this square brush. So I'm not speaking too much about what I'm doing because I'm thinking. I'm gonna cut this into this to try and get the shape of my barn owl, because that is my favorite one. You can see the difference of the Prussian blue straight in there is very dark. So using a square brush really works with, let's see if I cut into this. I'm trying to look at the angle for this. Trying to get his wing. So there'll be a lot of playing around and fiddling around. These areas are too haphazard, so I'm gonna end up changing this because I'm trying to cut the shape out, as you can see. So it's to clarify some areas. Again, working across 2 pages. I've been thinking recently that I should actually cut some of these pages out and paint on them so that they'll be easier if someone wanted to buy them. But I am still enjoying working in my sketchbook. I don't know how to explain it. There's a certain freedom it's given me that I don't want to lose. So I'm basically resigning myself to the fact that I just have these for myself, and that this is a space that I can use to experiment and create artwork for other work, basically. So I am mixing and mixing. think what I'm finding is adding white, there's a different result. I have like a cream white that I could be using for this. Yeah, I just remembered I didn't scratch into that bit. There are other tools I could use to scratch this, and I'm currently not doing it. I don't want to put like an over amount of blue, like an excessive amount of blue. I have a turquoise I wanted to introduce in here somewhere, so I'm going to just keep letting places dry, and then I'll come in and really hone in on the face and the eyes. But I'm going to try and use, I had a turquoise going around here somewhere. So how do I bring this in? Is it even still got any in it? Yeah, it does. So if I look around, can I see my roller? I roll into, I have my tools all over the place. So it's really interesting to try and bring different elements into the painting. Can I use this too? Right. Gonna use it to just put some detail in there. I like really adding things and then the layers will speak for themselves. So like in the wing, I'll put some in. So this is supposed to be emulating a barn owl, but I just add a lot of color into them. They don't end up being just the colors that they can, I mean, they are naturally. I like to add another dimension to them. So a lot of this, I would need to push some of it back, maybe. I need to keep thinking of how I want to deal with some of these areas, and probably bring in some greens, apart from the turquoise I've just introduced into this, which I really like. I am going to try and bring in some greens because I mixed some greens in these containers as well. So let's see if I can, oh, this one's not coming out fully yet. There's a bit of a green in it. Actually, this can come straight out onto the page. So it depends what I want to do with this. So this is the reason I love these containers, because they can, you can just draw with them. As I said, the process is like the fun part of this. You can draw with them, create marks, patterns, all sorts of things. And let's see, I think that's enough for that one. And if I don't like, if it's too much for me, I will put my paper over and take some of that away. So that's that one. I feel like I have a darker one. So this is me introducing the green and trying to work out how to make things accessible for me and not like I can't access them. Oh, this is a really dark one. Let me just check. Yeah, it is doing it. So I'm gonna start drawing some more, like maybe bigger leaves. Just change the way the leaves look. Some bigger leaves, and just put them in as abstracted shapes. So these are like the Liquitex acrylic gouache containers that I had some time ago, and I just ended up mixing in actual acrylic in there. So so as they get empty, I'll mix other colors. They will change as well. I have white in this container, and the other day I was splashing it around. Let's see if I can do that. I hope I don't cause too much of a mess. So while I'm doing all these details, working on the background and everything, it's because I am also letting areas dry. So it's specific what I'm doing. I'm looking for my roller tool as well. I think I see it. So this tool, I like to use this to get some of the colors around and just spread things, and so that they're not all just the same. And it might make things look very strange. It might not have been a good idea to do it, but I've done it. So there you go. I don't think too much about it. I could probably come in if I want some of the colors behind to come through and scratch into it again. So those colors are peeking through all the time. You can let it dry, you can paint over it. I want to see what the splashes look like. I want to be able to add splashes to my paintings and like them. So I think what I did the other day is I had this page on the floor and I just dropped from high, I dropped like a whole bunch of drops. So I've got it like this. That I've done, it's probably too much now. And then I'm gonna maybe I can let some drip. See if I turn my page. Let's see if they drip. I can move them around so they're dripping downwards, and then I can get them to move. That way, if they've got enough in them to do it. Now, probably it looks like I've ruined it, but as I said, you let them dry and then you work on them. I have some papers around somewhere. As usual, I would squish bits and take things off. So I might get a piece of paper I can see right now and take some of the areas off. Ooh, okay, maybe I should tear one of this one. I have this like really big roll of paper. So I'm just gonna tear a bit off. It's just under my desk, and I'm going to take some areas off. I love to do this, and you get messy as usual painting. So there you go, that's this one. Look at that. That can be used in collage another time. So I'm going to use the same one again over this side, because why not? And yeah, we've got that pattern. And I'm going to scratch into it again. So that's one way you can actually make areas thinner with paint. You can get different effects. So I could use my dryer and dry this a little bit and try and come back into the face, because I don't really feel like it's progressing very much for what we're doing. So I'll just hit it with a bit of heat, and then I will get on with trying to work on my character. As I said, it might not finish in this session. I'm trying to give myself 1 hour at least to do this, but we'll see if I get there. And then I will start working back in here. I just did that much. That was my embossing tool heater, but I use it for what I'm working on. I use it for my artwork, to dry my artwork. So let's see if I can figure out what I want to do with this character, how I want to bring it out. So I need to relax and really mix my colors slowly to build this face up to the way that I want it to look. So it's about contrast here and working on what works for your character. So I am gonna try and emphasize some areas. And it's almost like redrawing my character again. So I want to get his face to be very specific. So adding colors that will bring out my character. So I feel like I want to bring in some orange. I don't think there's enough orange in the color contrast here, and maybe I should push actually going lighter in some areas instead of darker. I don't know. I want to focus on this character first for a bit. I feel like going lighter might be a thing to do. I want to bring in some orange because I don't think, so I'm going to bring in some of my fluorescent orange and just plonk it on an area there and start mixing that in. So that will brighten some of the areas that are a bit dulled now, and we will start to see my character a bit better in the scheme of things. So I'm going to at some point come in and start mixing for, let's see, its face. So let's just add in and brightening this face a bit. This makes all the difference. We're starting to see our bird come out. This area here, I'm trying to think of how I want it to stand out. So I think I need to go very light to bring my character out. This is quite hidden inside of all of this. The legs. So the blue, let me see. You always have to think about the contrast. So if I couldn't go lighter, I had to go darker. I mean, if I couldn't go darker, I have to go lighter with that. So that's what's going on here. So it's to go lighter. And to take my time building that. So I'm mixing my brush back and forth because I want to mix whatever colors are around into my brush. And so I'm building, I'm adding. And building layers. to be saturated. So many colors and options to this. So let's see if I cut that down a bit. If I take this blue, okay. So I am trying to cut my character out of this whole thing. I really like the turquoise, so I'm gonna have to bring that back in. There's the blue as well going into the wing. Blue. Trying to carry some of that blue in here somewhere. I'm just feeling my way along. Scratching. It just helps to, it just enhances everything. I don't know how to explain it. It just works. And so I've got to come in here and make this wing a lot darker. So taking the time to focus on my character. This environment, I'll come back into it, but let's see what I can do with the wing. So I pushed it slightly further down. So there is like other details going on. I still need to come back in here and do some more because this is the shadow area, so I'm really trying to build that within the whole conversation of shadow and all those details. So trying to work out what I should do with this area here. I think I like it. I can't see it from above, which is sometimes the issue, so I need to usually stand up. This is where you would need to move further away from your artwork to see what you need to do about certain areas. So because I want to blend areas, what I do is I always do an organic swirly whirl. And that is like a real name. I am trying to encapsulate some foliage here, and I'm just trying to make it more interesting with the green I put here. I didn't really like the way that green looked. I've got a lot of green actually here on my palette, so I might play around with that and add it in areas. To build it up. And then the blue, my Prussian blue is running out. I really like adding my Prussian blue with some of that green. So the reason I'm getting these dots is because I'll scratch into my artwork and it will rub on my actual hand. So it's really interesting part of the process. A lot of scratching into it and working out things. I don't like this area here, so I'm gonna put some of that. So the focus I think I want to have is on the face of this character, but then I like all the swirls. Like all this I'm gonna let dry because I want to bring in some more colors. So what colors can I bring in here that will be distracting? It could be blue that comes in. So I could put, I'm just gonna put this straight on here. Oh, that's really big. I don't think that's how big I wanted to do it, but let's go. Blue is, let's see what happens if I play around with the blue in here. Is that too much? I'm mixing it in. Is that too much? It probably is too much. But as I said, all the layers, you end up just having so many layers, and the painting just, the textures in it are amazing. So, and then after all this, you can add like butterflies, you can add flowers. I've noticed I've not got flowers on this. So if I start just using some of these colors around other areas and just dabbing them down and playing around with my tools. Right, I think I want to take a lot more of this off. I think this was too much here because I just had an idea for how I can add some more textures in places. Just colors, dabbing colors. So I'll probably push this back a little bit. But I like this color here, which is a mix of these ones. So carry the color across to this side a little bit. My intention is to bring about, you know, some like movement. Let's see what this does. No, I'm not putting it straight on. Let's not take that risk again. And I have a palette knife somewhere else. So there's so many ways we can do this. I wanted to make this darker. Let's see. This blue. Get the excess off my brush. Right, let's push this in here. So I think this is almost finished. This will go in the bin in a minute. That's exciting because I finally used it up. So let's mix it in. So I'm pushing some of this color back. And playing around with foliage. So, and that's the thing, you just have to discover how your tools work, what you can do with them. Gonna throw that away. Yay! So that's that one there. So I started building some kind of foliage up this way. With this, you just cut into this with some other branches and things as well. Need to relax, take my time. So what I'm trying to do here now is consolidate the painting. So it's like you start looking like you deliberately put certain things in motion, and I'm pushing back that very abstracted background, which is still there. It still has its place, but it's further back. And if I'm a bit more patient, I could have a thinner flat brush to do this process with, but I'm just throwing this in here. So this has changed quite a bit. I have now added some more details into the background. I could add some more Prussian blue into this as well. It's not by any means finished. It is a work in progress, as I've said. I wanted to make sure we can see my character here. All of this, once it dries, we can still paint over. It's not like the final thing, but I'm leading towards thinking about like having some backgrounds, because I always lean towards having a floral environment, nature, leaves, textures of different plants in the environment, you know, the mood as well of the painting. You know, what's the weather like? Is it twilight? Is it nighttime? Is it daytime? Are there fields? So all of this could be pushed back, but I really like this kind of like introduction. I really love actually using flat brushes. I'm realizing that more and more, but I do have a lot of filbert that I have been using and I use for other areas. So I also love the filbert. They all have their uses. So I'm gonna go in and start using some more of my filbert, basically, and see where I can add it. But I'm also thinking about kind of more scumbling ideas, so my brush should not be wet. Should not be very wet, it should be more dry. So the acrylic technically that I'm using should be more of a thicker consistency. But I'm gonna go in and just start trying to add some little details into this. It might not be that visible, but there's so much detail you can add into your painting and areas that you can bring out. So just going in and seeing what else I can add in the wings. I want to kind of highlight the bird a lot more. So different sizes of wing feathers. I should use the tipped pick, I think, for scratching in the wing detail, because it's just better for the way it looks. But then you just take your time and do that. As I said, this is in my sketchbook, and I am building the layers and seeing where I want to put things. So if I'm not liking something, I will change it. Bring in some of that blue back in again, scratch in. And build in here. So trying to go with the way that the light. So So there's a lot more we could do. As I said, I wanted to let these other areas dry. We can make this brighter. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to share this week, this Sunday. Please do check out other videos I have that are similar on the channel here and see what else I get up to. Please do subscribe as well if you haven't already, and you can get notified on any new videos that I have here on the channel. And we're having a lot of fun just taking our time through sketchbooks, playing around and trying out different experiments. And then getting a lot of different textures on our artwork. I am using acrylic paint here. I do use oil paints, and I'm planning to have some sessions where it's actually oil paint that I'm using for these paintings. So that will come at some point. Maybe I'll try that next time. I hope I remember that after saying this. I hope I remember I'm saying I want to do some oil painting next time. So yeah, mixing it and let's see. So just carving this guy out. That is all I've been looking at here. And I can always take a look again and make some adjustments to the wing, make it bigger. You know, I didn't add any flowers in here. I could have added some other foliage in here as well. I just wanted to focus on this character. And bring this one out. Then the warmer color on this side. So let's see. So many things you can do with it. As I said, I could turn around tomorrow actually and change this whole completely. You can paint over things. So keep it simple, experiment, try things out. I really just want, as I said, to be able to figure out how to share with you guys, share some things that are interesting, and work away in my sketchbooks. I don't want to feel pressure because easily, like I said, I could have done this on substrate, but that isn't paper in my sketchbook. So I am enjoying the flexibility and the relaxed aspect of painting in my sketchbook and creating these pieces, and it's a lot of fun. But I'm sure there'll be a point where I will start to work on different pieces, like of actual paperwork that are separate and can be accessed and adopted, like my other work I have on my website. But I'm really enjoying my sketchbook, I have to be honest, and they are beautiful. And I've never experienced working on sketchbooks in this manner before for myself personally. I always just had artwork that was haphazard, random ideas, but this enjoying immersing myself in an idea, in an environment, and there's a character, and I really enjoy creating the characters. So right now I have quite a few different animals I like to paint. I like to do like the barn owl, I like to do like the hummingbird as well. I might throw in some butterflies as well at some point in things, and my mice I want to bring back in. But I've been looking at different animals I can also work on as well. I don't really do many sea creatures, but I've been thinking that I might want to integrate some of those into my artwork. It might not make sense, but I want to do it. Like, I mean, here I could have added like what do you call it again, a jellyfish or something in here, or a turtle. I'm going to cross over in the different environments of animals. I'm going to do all these things. It's going to seem odd, I don't care, because I want to be able to bring in my interests into the same environment. And why not? I can do it. It's my world. There could be an owl, there could be a turtle. Everything is symbiotic, everything works together, so I can do that. I'm planning to do all of that, so this is exciting. And the more I do this, the more I venture into experimenting with different backgrounds and keep on generating all this artwork in my sketchbook, I am getting ideas. And that's what, like I've just told you now, of the different ways I could introduce characters into the artwork. And I mean, I love to work with narratives, but whatever the narrative is going to be on the page. And it's not that I have full access to it. It was just something like, let's just try that. And it's popped into my head that maybe even a turtle, you know, swimming across this would be interesting as well. I won't do that in this session, but I feel like that is something I'm going to try. Or also like a whale, elephants. There's just different ideas that are in my head. If I love animals, then why am I limiting myself to just a specific scope of animals? I can start introducing them together on a page. And I'll show you an example of something I did just yesterday, where I just amalgamated a whole bunch of sketches of owls, and I'll just pick that up. So I amalgamated, I'll just keep this in my lap, I've got another book. I brought together a whole bunch of, because I wanted to just sketch some owls and play around with that, I did this. So let me see if I can show you here on the camera. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my painting. No, actually, no, I won't do that because I want to film this afterwards for this video, just for an outtake. So I did this piece where on my sketchbook, this was some drawings that I wanted to do. And I'll turn it this way as well. So I wanted to just go ahead and sketch a whole variety of owls in my sketchbook, and I just went ahead and did it, and that was a lot of fun. And this is the kind of thing I'm talking about, an amalgamation of different things on a page, painting them, making them a bit more interest, almost like I'm doing research. That kind of idea, like it's a sketchbook of interest and of characters, and why not, and have that as a way of introducing mixing animals. So I think that I'm going to do something similar to that. So that was some of my sketches yesterday, and from that sketch I ended up creating like this page in my sketchbook, which I haven't finished, but that was what came out of me practicing, you know, that piece, and I really liked it. So I want to be able to enjoy making sketches, amalgamating things. So I'm going to experiment with some of that before I show you. I don't want to do it live. I just want to be able to go, I really actually do like this. And then I will share. But I'm going to be doing some of that. And it's going to be fun, fun, fun. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I've already said the whole spiel about subscribing and all the rest of it. So yeah, I'm going to go now. See you guys next week. My name is Beatrice Ajayi. I'm an artist based in Glasgow in Scotland. And here on my YouTube channel, this is what I like to share, a lot of art. So I'll see you guys next time. Please do become creative. Give yourself a chance to do some creativity. That's all I want for you, and I enjoy it a lot. So I'm going now. I really am going now. Bye-bye.